Hello everyone, this is Mark Miller, the Executive Director to the Passive House Alliance United States, and I'm here to congratulate you on completing your Certified Passive House Consultant training. It is quite an accomplishment, and I'm sure you are all feeling somewhat enlightened in a new approach, a heightened approach to building that is much better than the traditional way that we've been doing things. And I'm sure you're also very happy to be in the same room with many other like-minded architects, builders, engineers who are championing a smarter way of building things. Well, with your training, I'm sure you feel like you have these new superhuman powers that allow you to see BTUs wicking through your wall assemblies. And now you have the skill to stop that from happening. And with such great powers come great responsibility. And you're going to feel a little strange when you fly back home or drive back home and you get in front of your colleagues in the local building community there. I know when I finished my training, things seemed very different when I showed up back home. Kind of reminds me of my favorite horror movie, Night of the Living Dead. Yep, that was my colleague, John Smith, the architect down the block, and there's Larry the builder. Yeah, they kind of felt like zombies. You know, the building shells that we were building back then were full of holes. Yeah, you could see right through them, stick your arms right through them. Oh my God, it's scary. That cold winter winds rushing in through our poorly built assemblies. It's a horror film, folks. Oh no, don't do that. Put that down. Yep, that's what happens. You got to use tons of fossil fuel to keep that leaky shell comfortable for its occupants. Whew, that's what it felt like for me after training, coming home and seeing how we used to do things. Well, fortunately, friends, I'm here to tell you that there is something to help you, and it's called the Passive House Alliance United States. When I got back home to Chicago, I called up a few other CPHCs who had recently completed their training, and we started meeting at a local cafe, sharing stories about our practice, discussing details on how to build better buildings and make things more airtight. And we started meeting monthly. It was great. And after a while, more folks joined our group, and we got too large to meet at the local cafe anymore, so we started to meet downtown at a showroom that had a meeting facility, and we invited monthly presenters to come and talk to us. And little by little, our little alliance kept ballooning. You can see we've got 165 people signed up on our meetup.com site, and they get emails a couple times a month telling them who the next presenter is going to be and when and where we're meeting. And I want to tell you that we've got chapters elsewhere throughout the United States, in all these towns you see. And recently, we just started a Vermont chapter, a Lansing, Michigan chapter, and a Southwest or Dayton, Ohio chapter. There's also been many conversations with folks like yourself around the United States who are interested in starting a chapter in their local area. So I encourage you to get in touch with me if this is of interest to you. And you don't need to be right in the city to participate. We have many ways to allow you to participate virtually, so don't let geography be a challenge. Another great benefit of being in the Alliance is this wonderful website that we've designed last year. The website is your best marketing tool, and it is designed for the consumer and the curious building professional to get more involved in implementing Passive House in their next project, or for them to find out about what all the excitement is in the Passive House growing movement. On this website, you'll find all kinds of news and events and great information to share, including these wonderful downloadable case studies. They're a magazine quality, 4-page little brief summary about existing Passive House projects around the U.S., their accomplishments, their performance, interviews with the homeowners, and lessons learned, including a little bit about the design team. And you can encourage your potential clients to use these case studies. There's a variety out there on spec homes, new single-family residences, school buildings, and commercial structures. And this library of case studies is continuing to grow, and hopefully in the future you're going to email me and we'll list your awesome passive house project. Another great area is the Learn section, where we have a library of articles, videos, podcasts, books, tools, and blogs that your potential clients can learn all about Passive House. In fact, our video library's gotten so big we've had to subdivide it into all these categories, bursting with content. You'll also find videos from our Passive House products video tours, where we interview various product manufacturers who give you an opportunity to learn about how their products will help you meet the stringent certification levels of doing passive building. We also have a membership page, a sponsorship page with a new sponsorship program, a sponsorship directory, and the program looks like this. If you already have a relationship with folks in the building supply industry, you can encourage them to join our movement and help support the good work that we're doing with the Alliance, where our mission is to grow passive building and bring it into the American consciousness in the U.S. building industry. Some of our sponsors are folks you may already know, the Certainteed Corporation and all these other sponsors, and the list keeps growing each month. We also have a partners program, and we're partnering up with many of the top building science groups around North America. There are already many good folks doing great work out there, and we're all heading in the same direction, and it makes a lot of sense for us to team up together to do this good work. One of the programs I am happiest with is our national webinar series. And this is one of those techniques to allow everybody around the country, regardless of where you're located, even if you're in the mountains of Idaho or the swamps of Louisiana and you can't get to a chapter because the closest chapter happens to be 2 states away, not a problem. We have these wonderful presentations at our city chapters all around the U.S., and we broadcast that webinar as a live feed for you to enjoy at the comfort of your home or your office. Some of the topics that have been covered in the past are selecting the ideal ductless heat pump for passive house design, all about monitoring passive houses to make sure that they are performing as promised. This is one on the history of the passive solar movement as it grew into the passive house movement. A very inspiring webinar on PHPP dashboards that really expands the mind and possibilities. Big announcement came out a couple of months ago about PHAUS's partnership with the Department of Energy and the Challenge Home program. And what about retrofits? We've got a lot of existing housing stock on there, and what's the best way to really tackle these challenges to get existing housing up to the passive house standard? We have a webinar on that. Same with the trickiness of insulating existing masonry buildings. Very touchy subject. You've got to do it properly to stay safe. And we've got a webinar from 2 top building scientists, Bill Rose and Paul Knight. It was a wonderful event. Now the great thing is, if you happen to miss any of these webinars, not a problem. We've got a huge growing library where we archive all these presentations, and as a member of the Alliance you have access to those 24/7. Another great item about being in the Alliance is our newsletter. It started out quarterly, then went to monthly. Now we have weekly newsletters bringing you the latest and greatest in the national passive house movement. We also like to tell the community about victories and events that are happening related to our Alliance members all around the country. We also use the newsletter as a place to welcome new members like yourself with their email contacts so that folks who are in your area or near you can welcome you into the community and tell you about upcoming meetings and events. It's a place for you to get in touch with our sponsors. If you have questions on your projects, all of our sponsors have become a great resource to give you advice on achieving PHAUS. This is also a place where we will announce upcoming webinars for you to register for. And then when the webinar's been recorded and you happen to miss it, not a problem. You'll get announcements when these have been archived and they're available for you to review. Another great benefit of membership is for the past 2 years, the Alliance has done a great effort to record all of the presentations at the annual North American Passive House conferences. Another big part of being in the Alliance is our outreach and relationship building programs and opportunities. We usually have a booth at various green building expos and conferences around the United States. If we happen to be in your area, we may ask you to come and man the booth with us, or just stop by and say hi and talk to others in the community who have gathered. We also recently took part in the Das Haus Traveling Passive Building event, and our Chicago chapter helped welcome Das Haus into the city, and our Denver chapter just finished participating as a special partner with the German American Chamber of Commerce. The event kind of looked like this and gave a great opportunity for us to spread the good word about passive building in our city. We also provided posters of built passive house projects, which added a lot to the conversation at the event. All these good partnerships that we're building have a place to live on our website, where you'll find a description of those partners and full contact information. Another great project that the Alliance is working on is equipping all of our Alliance members with PowerPoint presentations so that they can go out and make presentations and lectures at their local community libraries, green expos, talk to policymakers, building officials, realty professionals. We've got a list of 8 different audiences that we will be making PowerPoints for, and therefore our Alliance members' good use. So that's just a little overview of what the Alliance is all about. You'll find a lot more information on the website. If you have questions about joining the group, please email me at the address below, and I look forward to the time to welcome you into our growing community. Thanks, everybody.